Thanks, Cahill, and welcome this opportunity to raise it with the Minister. And I'm glad you're here, Minister, as a resident of Laois. Now, I know you're just inside the border, but you're still in Laois. I raised this back in April 2022. On Holy Thursday, I became aware that year of from a source that there was plans to close Oireachtas House in Rathdowney. Oireachtas House at that time had 12 residents. 120,000 had just been spent on the roof, re-roofing part of the building. And there was an almighty campaign to keep it open. The decision to close it wasn't notified to the Minister at the time, and the Minister confirmed that in writing and here on the floor of the Dáil as well. I predicted at the time that I thought the HSE might sit it out and have a war of attrition and let the numbers dwindle down as curtained as people passed on to their eternal reward or to a nursing home or to convince them to move somewhere else. And unfortunately, that seems to have what has happened. Now, there was a consultant brought in to meet with residents, meet with families, to meet with staff and public representatives, and we all participated in this, and views were taken. And the view that came back very, very strongly was that for retention of a facility on the site at Oireachtas House. And the points in favour, Minister, was the staff, excellent staff in the facility. It's a large site, dead in the centre of Rathdowney town, with large gardens behind it. It's the old convent house. It had easy access to shops and post offices directly across the road, cafe, local facilities, the health centre and the library, which is adjacent to it, all of which were used by some of the residents, because one person in it was writing poetry. He was moved the other day. Another person died very recently. He produced wonderful artwork, which I've seen and viewed over the years. There's a regular bus service from Rathdowney, which was an excuse being used by the HSE and by the Department of Health at the time, that, oh, there's no transport in now of it. There's a very good bus service in now at Rathdowney, and that will improve further under the Rural Link scheme, which is a great scheme, right? I welcome that. One of the other great points was the support of, and the acceptance of the local community, of the residents. The new local people knew them and they would chat to them. And the residents were familiar with them and they were familiar with the surroundings. The HSE and the department done an order of merit report on the building, on options. And to refurbish and extend it, there was a projected cost of 5.2 million. And obviously it was a cost in doing that extensive report. A firm of architects were brought in to do it. But the current situation, Minister, is it's down to just 2 residents. And this is what I predicted would happen. Some have been moved. HSE department have sat it out. Some residents have moved to a nursing home, and some of them have gone to their eternal and just reward. So there was a number of meetings with the HSE, and various options were discussed. And I followed this the whole way along. And one of them, the preferred option for the HSE, we were told, was that there would be 4 such centres in Laois Offaly, 2 in Laois and 2 in Offaly. Now, there's already Silverwood Lodge in Tullamore and one in Borris. That's the 2 in Offaly. But in Laois, there's the Maryborough Centre, which has been refurbished at the time. It's reopened now. It's fantastic, by the way. And there are up to 15 residents in that. That's good. But I pointed out at the time, Rathdowney was ideal because it's at the other end of the county. It provided that care at the south of the county. They already owned the site. But what we've had since is pussyfooting or deliberately sitting it out. I don't know which it is, Minister, but no decision has been made. And this isn't acceptable. How long does it take for decisions to be made in this country?
Thank you, Deputy.
And I'm saying this to you as a Minister. Ministers really need to catch officials and move things on. I'm asking you, what is the truth here and what's happening? Because we need an upfront answer on this.
Minister, respond. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And again, I want to thank my neighbouring county Deputy today for raising this important matter in the House this morning. And I know it is a key priority for Minister Mary Butler. Unfortunately, the Minister can't take it today. And for the Government, that people experience mental health difficulties receive appropriate level of care that they require in the most suitable location in the community which best meets their needs, Deputy. Achieving this involves reform of the mental health services, developing for the purpose of community services that meets people's needs in the future. So this is supported by a substantial investment in mental health services each year. Now, I hope I'm saying it right. Earthna, is that the way you pronounce it? Earthna, yeah, because there's everyone's. Yeah. Earthna House is operated by the HSE, a fully staffed community mental health residence, and the HSE have advised the department that there are 3 remaining residents supported at this residence. Earthna House has provided much needed mental health support to many people over 2 decades. However, it is not the type of mental health service we would build today, and there are documented issues with configuration of the building as a mental health service. So the HSE have been actively engaging and working towards a solution that meets the long-term care needs of the service users remaining, Deputy, at that facility. So the HSE has advised the Department of Health and Earthna House would be significantly non-compliant with forthcoming Mental Health Commission community resident standards, and a significant level of investment would be required to develop the house to achieve the additional regulatory standards required. So an independent review was commissioned by the Chief Officer in the HSE Midlands Louth Mead Community Healthcare Organisation in 2022. So the review was completed on a basis of potential move of services to another location based in County Offaly. But this is no longer an option being considered by the HSE. The review strongly recommended that the views of the residents on their future service provision be focused of the decision making. So this person-centred management model has been undertaken by the HSE, which has indicated that the remaining residents wish to move to other long-term care facilities in their community. So the HSE has advised the department that this property is not suitable for upgrade or adaptation, and accordingly no new admissions will be undertaken. But the HSE has been provided assurance to the department as the service provision being made for existing residents to properly meet their needs. I will not, as you know, Deputy, go into these details as the number of people involved is so small that they could be identifiable, so we won't mention anyone. But the HSE aims to re-provide this service and provision for community-based high support, which will be managed in existing alternative mental health residents located within the IHA. Thank you, Deputy.
Thanks, Minister, for your reply. But as of yesterday, it's down to 2 residents. That's my information. And the point is that we know the building will not meet standards. We know that for 3 years. The HSE know it, and the government know it, and the department. The facts is that, you know, what's happened in the meantime. The HSE management were clear that it needed 4 centres, and that the ideal size of these centres were to cater for between 10 and 15 people, because that provided the best model in terms of efficiency, use of resources, but also the best practice for the residents, and they outlined in great detail why. So we know that. Now, where is the 4th centre going to be? We have 3 in Laois Offaly. Where is it going to be? This site is owned, the government owned it, the Department of Health owned it. This, you know, there's a building there already. I recognise the fact that this building needs an upgrade. I know that, I understand that. But if we're going to have 4 centres, you know, surely, surely we should have them geographically located. That one in the south of the county, one up towards the north in the middle of the county, which is in Portlaoise, and that's excellent. I welcome that centre. You know, I visited it, and it's wonderful what's happening in it. But you know, we have people who, and you know this in your position as a minister, there's people here, they're being let out of mental health facilities and being sent home who really need to be in care. I have families contacting me about people who are being sent out of the psychiatric unit, brought in for a couple of days, sent out again. Those people need to be in residential care, and you know that's well recognised by medical professionals. But there's nowhere to send them to. There isn't anywhere. And they're not fit to hold down a tenancy in a house. They're not fit to live in, you know, group supported accommodation. But in a congregated setting like that, they function. And the HSE recognised that at the time. So what's happened now?
Thank you, Deputy.
And the most recent reply I got to a PQ, I wish to advise that no decision has been made regarding the future of Earthna House. You know, so we need to get straight answers as to what's happening. And I'm asking the government here to use this resource, use this opportunity, make decisions on it, and put a facility in place in the south of the county, utilise the goodwill and the staff that's there also. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister.
Again, thank you, Deputy, for bringing this very important issue. And, you know, I want to assure the House, I do understand how important it is that you said for all persons with mental health difficulties that they have the relevant mental health services in place from the HSE in the location that best suits their needs. And you're right, I will check, you said about the 4 centres, and they should be based in different areas. I will check that out with Minister Butler on that. I also will check the site on the HSE. You're saying that Ertna House, that's a HSE site. I will also speak to the Minister and the Department, and I can assure you that someone will come back to you with this information. And again, look, I do note that this is a priority, you know, for Minister Butler, and I will definitely go back to her Deputy with your concerns. And thank you for raising this today. Thank you.